population. It poses a threat to the health of the human population. And that is why in the second day we emphasized this One Health concept.
Another concern this forum seeks to address is the high amount of substandard drugs observed to be penetrating the country and traded in our local markets. This, according to Dr. Toure, is posing a serious threat to both animal and humans.
We started off giving them information about how to control the sale and distribution of veterinary drugs, how to control the sale of illicit drugs, counterfeit drugs, substandard drugs that is rampant all over the country. If you go to our lumos, you'll find people who are not authorized to sell, who do not know anything about medicines.
For the participants who were drawn from different parts of the country, the training will surely broaden their understanding of effective disease control strategies. Basiru Jada is the District Agricultural Officer for Kia West.
It's a very, very important training because it will enforce us with the knowledge to be able to execute our duties in the field.
His comments were reinforced by Emmanuel Mendy, a livestock technician at the Ministry of Agriculture.
I would like to say that the training is key. It is vital in the veterinary profession. It is a refresher training. It helps us to remember some of those points or issues that we have learned during college days.
With common diseases such as trypanosomiasis, foot and mouth diseases, and rinderpest posing threats to the livestock sector, capacity enhancement forums like these can be instrumental in equipping the veterinarians to deal with such challenges. Momodo S. Jala, GRTs.
We'll be back with more stories after this break. Welcome back. A human rights report has disclosed that Syrian security forces have gunned down at least 30 people on Tuesday, following a bloody weekend that saw the killing of a similar number. And Israeli security forces have intercepted a Gaza-bound French flotilla with all 16 crew members arrested. We have details of these and other stories in this roundup of world news.
The situation in Syria remains tense, especially in Homs in the center of the country. According to human rights groups, security forces killed at least 13 people in the night to Tuesday. This comes after an already bloody weekend when more than 30 people died in clashes between opposition and supporters. 2 demonstrators have been killed in Yemen, another 7 have been injured. Opposition members met in the capital Sana'a, saying they refuse any dialogue with President Ali Abdullah Saleh. According to pro-government media, Saleh wants to sit down with the opposition. He says it is the only way he will relinquish power. French flotilla Dignité Al-Karama will never arrive in Gaza. It is the last vessel to try and break through the blockade, but was intercepted by Israeli forces. All 16 crew members have been arrested. Unlike with a Turkish flotilla intercepted in May 2010, when 9 Turkish activists had been killed, this time there were no reports of violence. Ecuador has banned alcohol, at least for the next 3 days. This comes after 23 people died of alcohol poisoning after drinking impure spirits. Hundreds of more patients remain in hospital.
The residence of Guinean President Alpha Condé came under attack last night. In what is suspected to be an attempted coup, unknown assailants fired heavy automatic weapons between 3 and 5 in the morning. The incident has claimed the life of 1 presidential guard and injured 3 others. Amidst the trouble and unhurt, President Condé called for calm and national unity. Details in this report.
Breaking news interrupted regular programming on Guinean television this morning. Tonight, between 3 and 5 a.m., the residence of President Alpha Condé has come under attack. Pictures of the attack were broadcast on national television an attack on the residence of President Alpha Condé and Conakry. Unknown assailants fired heavy automatic weapons between 3 and 5 in the morning, even launching a rocket, striking the home of the head of state and his family. The president escaped, addressing his nation soon after. We have begun our way towards democracy and we will continue down that road. We are ready for change and we will see change if God is willing. I call for calm and vigilance and also for national unity. One presidential guard protecting the residence was killed. Another 3 were injured. Meanwhile, the former army leader, General Nuhu Thiam, was arrested just after the raid. It is still unclear if this was an attempted coup d'etat or a simple warning. The only thing that is clear is that during the election, Condé promised to reform the army. Aside from General Konaté, credited with a smooth political transition, the armed forces have always been known to destabilize Guinea.
The United Nations assessment report has said that pro Gbagbo troops no longer pose a threat to Ivory Coast, but maintained that security remains a serious concern in the Cocoa-rich state, and conflicting reports are emerging as to who controls Libya's oil-rich town of Brega. Rebels claim they have recaptured the town after days of combat, while the Gaddafi government says it has total control over the strategic town. We have details of these and other stories in this African News Roundup.
The United Nations Security Council made an assessment of the situation in Côte d'Ivoire. The pro-Gbagbo forces are no longer a threat, its report concluded, but security remains a serious problem in the country. Restoring public order as rapidly as possible is a top priority. Côte d'Ivoire can count on international aid and UN forces can stay for a while longer. These were the recommendations made by Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. In Libya, it's difficult to know who is controlling Brega. The rebels are saying they recaptured the oil town in the east after days of combat. The government spokesman denies the claim and says Gaddafi's troops pushed back the rebel offensive and have total control over Brega. The taking of Brega would be a major victory for the rebels and would allow them to get a hold of the town's oil installations, which are vital for the country's economic future. Voters in Sao Tome will have to cast their ballots once again to elect their president. None of the 10 candidates obtained 50% of the vote in the first round on Sunday. On the 7th of August, the leading candidate, Manuel Pinto da Costa, will face current Speaker of the House, Evaristo de Carvalho. The president of Niger, Mahamadou Issoufou, on an official visit to Benin. He received a warm welcome from his counterpart Boni Yayi. One of the main items on the agenda, railroads. The two leaders will discuss relaunching the activities of the joint railroad company and the extension of the railway all the way to Niamey.
And before we end this edition of the news, a recap of the top stories. President Jammeh has called on the youths of Funi to return the area back to its past glories as the first leg of the Dialogue with the People tour enters its final phase. The ruling Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction Party has appointed Ajaratunde Ijata National Women's Mobilizer. State prosecutors have filed 4 criminal counts of treason and sedition against former Information Minister Dr. Amadou Skatrat Jane and 3 others. Guinean President Alpha Condé has narrowly escaped a pre-dawn attack on his residence by unknown assailants, and Israeli security agents have intercepted a Gaza-bound French flotilla, arresting all its 16 crew members. That's the news at 10. Thanks for watching and have a pleasant night.
Pursuits. The chief guest of honor for the event is Her Excellency the First Lady, Madam Zainab Yahya AJJ Jammeh. Performing artists will include Mam Tamsir Jai, Mbaye Gueye, Sambu Suso, and comedian group Kaduje. Support and be part of the Miss 22nd July Scholarship Pageant as the scheme will benefit all and sundry.
Wow, 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 wow. Hey, man, guys, mooy critique bi nga xam ne bu nguur gee ko moom looloo tax ñu tuddee ko yaatu fii yaa ngi gis loo soxla ci t-shirt ñu printal la pour million de t-shirt sax xew nga maas ni muy defar écart